Okay, so phase 2, remember phase 2 involves cloud rendering. So the first thing you got to do in order to complete phase 2 of the assignment is you have to be logged in. Now this is not actually the same login that might cause some problems with your BPAC. Regardless, you need to be logged in, have access to the Autodesk servers for cloud rendering. You might see a situation where when you start to render, it tells you that you only have 25 credits. Ideally, you'll see it tell you that you've got unlimited credits. Either way, these renderings aren't going to take up a lot of space, so you should be fine to complete it, even if you only have the 25 credits. If not, make up a new account, get 25 new credits. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to set up the cameras. There's not too much to this. Remember that what I want is I want one floor plan. So that's the abstract. That's the one you won't know how to do. That's the one that has a few extra steps involved. So I'll show you that one. One illumination rate rendering showing the floor plan, and then I want 3 other views that would just be conventional sort of eye-level perspective camera views rendered with the illuminance setting, not with the traditional sort of lighting setting. So to make the floor plan view, I'm just going to open up my Revit file. I'm in a floor plan view here. I'm on my main floor, and I'm just going to go to the View tab, and then on the 3D View button here in the Create panel, I'm just going to click on the bottom part of the button so I can access Camera. The crucial part of this, you have to catch this right away, you can't fix it after the fact. Click on Camera, and you have to uncheck the box here that says Perspective. So I'm going to uncheck that, and now it's going to give me a camera view that's orthogonal. Now I'm going to place this the way I would normally place a camera. So you can see that my cursor has that little camera icon. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to click once to place the camera, and then I'm going to click a second time to point it. This is all going to change after the fact, so it doesn't matter at all where you make this initial placement. When you make the second click, it'll take you to that view, and you can see that it looks like a section view, and that's because I turned off the perspective setting. So what I want is I want to actually get on top here and do like a floor plan sort of view down. I'm going to use my view cube to change the orientation of the view. So there's the view cube. If I just kind of highlight on the top edge of that front face and click, it takes me to kind of a split top front view, and then I can just click again right on the top view, and now you can see I'm looking straight down. At this point, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not looking inside my building. This is essentially a site view right now. In order to change it to a view where I can actually see what's happening on my main floor, I have to go in the properties and change my eye elevation and my target elevation. So you can see here I'm many thousands of millimeters above the building. That's why I'm getting this kind of site view. So I'm just going to click here to change the target elevation to 0 and the eye elevation to something that would be below the ceiling on the main floor. So 2,000 millimeters is probably a safe way to go. And now you can see that it takes me to something that looks more like a floor plan view. Now for some strange reason, when you do that, it rotates it 90 degrees. You might think you could just use the controls here on your view cube and just click on this little 90-degree rotate arrow. But for some reason, when you do this, it takes you right back outside the building. So in order to make this the conventional sort of method of showing the top of a floor plan being the north, I'm going to respect that. I'm going to go back here and set this up again. Target elevation to 0, eye elevation to 2,000. And what I'm going to do to fix this now is I'm just going to select this crop box and then use my rotate tool. And I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees and set it that way. Oop, go the other way. So I'll just do a 180 from there. There we go. So now I'm respecting that convention of putting north at the top. And I really only want to have just the floor plan. I don't need the whole site here. So I'm just going to crop this to show just the building. Right to, let's say, the sidewalk, just so I've got a clear sense of where the perimeter of the building is, but I don't need to show any additional details. So something about like that. Okay, and now I'm ready to send this off to the cloud. So I'll go to the View tab again, and on the Graphics panel, I'll click on the little teapot with the cloud in it. I'll activate that and click Continue. I'm logged in, so it's ready to go. It's going to give me some little warnings here about the access that I have. So there I have unlimited. Ideally, that's what you'll see as well. And what I want to render here is 3D View 1. That matches the camera view name listed here. If you need to change it for organization's sake, do that. The output type is still image, but I want to have an illuminance still image. So make sure you catch that. So on the second one down, output type is going to be illuminance. The image size, let's set this to large, should be fine. And then location and time you should have already set for your model. If you haven't done that, you can go back to the energy settings. And we want to use, we'll use the date from the view. We'll use the sky model. And there's a few different options here for sky model. Just take the top one. That's fine. And then we're going to go to legend. And we want to set this to maximum 2000. We'll set this to automatic, and we'll check logarithmic as well. And we'll change our units from foot candles to lux. When that's all set up, we just click on Start Rendering. It's off to the cloud. And it'll take, depending on the traffic on the servers, probably 10 or 15 minutes. So you'll get notification. If you check that box that says email, you'll get notification when it's finished. Otherwise, just check back. I'm getting a warning here that's just telling me that I've got some texture images that are missing. That's fine. I'm not rendering out a full texture lighting rendering anyway. I'm just doing the illuminance, so it doesn't matter. I'll just click OK. Kind of stick around and make sure that you spot any little warnings that might pop up. If you get a little warning like that, it'll halt your rendering and it won't allow it to go any further. So make sure you've dealt with all the little warnings that might pop up, and then it's off to the cloud, and it'll be done in a few minutes. So you know how to do this, but I'll show you anyway. On the 3D view, click camera again. Remember, the assignment calls for 3 perspective views. So just normal, sort of eye level, looking in the room, whatever view, whatever vantage point you like. So you're just going to create 3 of those, and same process with the cloud as you saw before. You're going to set the output type to illuminance. So I'll do it once. I won't do it all 3 times, but I'll just click on, as I just did there, 3D view, camera, and 1 click here, place the camera, 2nd click to point it. It'll take you right to that view. And there you can see I'm kind of down in the parkade now. So I'm going to use my navigation wheel. I don't want to do a rendering in the parkade, of course, because there's no daylight down there at all. So once you get into that initial camera view, use your navigation wheel to fine tune it. You can see here that I've got to do a little bit to kind of get inside the building. Orbit around, zoom around a little bit, pan. The navigation wheel allows you to do subtle changes. So that's why I'm recommending using that. So I'll just set that one up. Tradition in architecture, when you render a camera view, is to have your vertical lines parallel. So no 3-point perspective, just 2-point perspective. Easy way to do that in Revit is just when you are looking at the properties for your view right here, like we did before with the floor plan view, you'll see an eye elevation setting and a target elevation setting. The way that you avoid these kind of diagonal, you can see how they're kind of converging towards a 3rd vanishing point that would be somewhere up in the sky. The way that you avoid that is you just set matching values here. So I'll set the eye elevation to 1500, target elevation to match, and now you'll see that those lines are completely vertical. When that's done, I just go back to the View tab, and I will click on Render in Cloud. And when I get here, again, just like I did before, now you can see it lists 3D View 2. So the default when you make a new camera view in Revit is just 3D View 1, 2 in sequence. So eventually I'll have 3D View 2, 3, and 4. And the output type, again, is going to be illuminance. Image size will match the last one, large, 2.25 megapixels. And we'll just set the same settings that we have before. So location and time will be from the model's location. We'll use the model's date from view. Sky model, just go with the top one. And legend, again, set this for 2000 max, automatic and logarithmic. And we'll click on Start Rendering. I'll probably see the same warning pop up here about the texture maps. I can just click OK to continue without those. And you'll see it think a little bit, and then it's just off to the cloud. These ones aren't going to be done right away, of course, but I will just kind of jump in there and show you how to view them when they're done. There's a little prompt at the top that tells me it's being rendered online. That little spinning wheel just usually means it's just taking a moment to kind of package it up and send it off. But remember, that work's all being done somewhere else. So you're free to use your laptop for whatever. It's not using any of the resources on your machine, so you can carry on setting up your different views, and you can have all 4 of those Illuminance renderings running on the server at once. So don't feel like you have to wait for one to finish on the server before you start the next one. You might as well just get them all going at once. When you're done setting them up and you want to see the progress, this button below the teapot in the cloud is Render Gallery. If you click on that, it'll take you to your browser. And you're already logged in, so it should just go right to your renderings. And there you can see that they're in the works. That little blank kind of clock icon just tells you that they're being processed. And maybe I'll just try to find one here that shows finished product. There we go. So when it's done, you're going to get an image that looks somewhat like what you see in the bottom here. So these are floor plan renderings. And you can see the intense colors here indicating where there's more daylight coming in the windows. And then these ones over here on the right just indicate those sort of traditional views where you're just standing looking at eye level. So in the end, you'll get 4 images. I just want you to compile those in the PDF. Okay.